thegearnetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
This is AC Slade, and you're listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
What's up, rock soldiers? This is the rock star Robbie Vegas with another episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. I thank you for returning once again, and to any of our new listeners, I urge you guys to please hit that subscribe button, whether you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. I'm happy to have you, and thank you guys so much for being here. And please, if you like what you hear at the end of this interview, ABAO Pod is the handle on Instagram, X, and Facebook. So give us a follow. We're always posting a bunch of stuff there, and we try to get interactive with you guys as well. So today I have two very special guests, and a first time ever for the show, our husband and wife combo coming on together with Mr. Richie Kotzen and Julia Lage. This was actually Julia's idea a few months back when she was on the show, and then you guys voted her Guest of the Year for 2023, current bassist of Vixen, and now we have her back, and we haven't had Richie on the show since 50 for 50 came out, so been a while for him. So I was really looking forward to this, and I think the interview was great, and I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it. Before we get to it, I just want to play you guys a clip of Julia's new song, The Ride, which does feature Richie, and then at the end of the show, stick around after the interview, and we will play one of Richie's songs, actually. So I'm thinking right now we'll go with Devil's Hand. So stick around. And if these are songs you haven't heard before, check them out, and make sure you're following Julia and Richie on social media, and you're, of course, downloading all of their music and keeping up on where they will both be appearing next. Let's jump into this tune here. This is The Ride. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the All Bets Are Off podcast for the second time for you both. But Richie's was forever ago, and Julia, you were just a few months back.
Yeah. Glad to be back now with hubby.
What do you call it?
Hubby. Oh, you're my husband.
All right.
Well, this was actually Julia's idea. So when she was on, she said you should have us both on together. So this came from her.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay, so that's why. He's like, What are you saying?
Here we are.
Great shirt, by the way. I just had to get that out one more time for everybody. Yeah.
I use that all the time. It has a good cut.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good quality.
I think Richie needs one.
I do.
Yeah, he doesn't have one.
All right. We're going to have to get Richie one. Well, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm going to jump right in with talking about Julia's new song, The Ride, because Richie, you are on that song. And my question was that always the plan for you guys to work together on that, or did that just kind of happen?
Not as far as I know. I think it just kind of came about.
Yeah, it happened. I remember I had, because as we talked before, I like doing stuff on my own, and at least I try. So I had guitars recorded that, but it wasn't really working as I wanted. It was, so Richie obviously he stepped in and he was like, well, I can definitely help. And, it works great because like his solo is always amazing. I'm never going to have any solos.
I think it started with doing a solo, and then it turned into replacing rhythm guitars. I think that's kind
Yeah, definitely
really?
the solo. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I remember. We did the solo in her little room where she has her stuff set up, and we did it direct. I plugged direct into my little fly rig, and then somehow that led to doing the rhythms, which actually, when I redid those, I used an amplifier and a microphone.
Yeah, it needed something dirtier, and being in the room, there's only so much you can do, and he has the big amps downstairs and the good stuff. So
Loud.
Yeah.
oh yeah, so you need to be loud sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it's a great song too. And it was cool to see that you guys were on it together. And I kind of know a little bit of your history from, my talk with you, Julia. But staying on that, what's the creative process like with both of you? Because you're both musicians, you're both writing your own music, you're both releasing your own music. Do you guys kick ideas around to each other a lot, or is it usually separated and sometimes it just kind of comes together and works out?
It's definitely separated, right?
Yeah, I mean, she writes her songs and she has her visions for them and does things her way, and the same for me. But one thing that does happen, and it's kind of interesting, is that I will, on occasion, say, hey, listen to something here. And I won't say anything because I'll have something in mind that I think might maybe need some attention.
Go ahead.
So anyway, it's kind of a little bit of, a trickery. So if I'm working on something and I might say to myself, well, I think it's done. There's one thing that's kind of, I could mess with, and then I'll have her listen. And then if she picks up on the thing that's in the back of my head, then I might know that maybe I should address it. If she don't notice it and starts talking about 3 or 4 other things, then I know I'm finished. The song's finished. But it kind of is funny. It happens like that. Like even in collaborations, like oftentimes in a collaboration, there will be something that I just think is perfect. It just feels totally real and connected. And then a few other things might be, yeah, you could probably mess with it. Never fails. At some point along in the process, someone else will come, and the thing that I'm like, for me, the one thing that's solid and perfect will be the thing, hey, that second verse, I wonder if that lyric is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's the whole point of the song. You can't change that. So you got to be very careful. I don't like opening the door to, I don't like the
criticism.
What do you think?
Yeah.
And I learned over the years, I don't really play my music for people until I release it. It's like, I'm not really trying to please anybody other than me. And it's because I'm selfish, but the reason is I know if I love it and I'm happy,
it
then
should be enough.
Then that's it. Yeah. Now I've got something that I know I'm at my best. I'm connected. It's great. Now you all can decide if you pick up on it or not and let it be. And you're a little bit the same way, I think.
We are. And then sometimes, I will say, I have for me, it's the vocals. So I'm trying to sing and I'm like, honey, can you help me here? Does that sound legit? Does that have an accent? Because I'm Brazilian, obviously. So he would help. The other day, he need my help. He asked about some harmonies that was going on in a track.
Yeah, there was a harmony that was driving me berserk. And I'm like, she came in the studio. She's like, hey. I'm like, hey. And then I knew why she was there because she heard this.
I heard a harmony.
Cacophony. And she's like, no.
Something was wrong. And I love harmonies. So I was like, well, and then, not that I need to help him or he needs to help me, but.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We don't mind.
That was a great moment. I was like, okay. So thank God. Pull the rest of my hair that I have left out of my hair.
I love that though. That's excellent. And it's cool that you guys have that dynamic and that flow. So Richie, you have new music that you're working on right now as well, right?
Yeah, I've got a lot going on creatively and performance-wise. I just finished working with Adrian. We spent a lot of time together at the beginning of the year, and we did the same thing the previous year. And so I think we've got a lot of really strong material. And so the likelihood of a Smith Kotzen 2 is extremely high.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's very probable, and I'm feeling very good about it. So that's really nice to have kind of, there in our back pockets, so to speak. And in addition to that, when I came off the road from the Winery Dogs last year, after having done 95 shows, in my decompression process, I started going through my ideas that I had in my iPhone. On the recorder app, I'll sing all these bass lines or vocal ideas or what have you. And I started working on some things, and I actually now see an album in my future formulating 4 compositions that I really love that are pretty much mixed in my estimation. And so I want to spend the next couple of months kind of seeing, it's like a sculpture, just kind of throwing things around and see how it forms. But I'm hoping it forms into an album sooner than later.
Now, are we talking just strictly Richie Kotzen, or are we talking Winery Dogs?
Strictly Richie Kotzen. Yeah, the Winery Dogs are in a bit of a hibernation for the foreseeable future, as Mike is now working with Dream Theater, and Bill's obviously out touring Mr. Big. And I think, I don't want to get involved in other people's business, but I think there's a new Mr. Big record that might appear. I hope I'm not breaking any secret code. I read it somewhere online, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So the Winery Dogs, I don't see that being active for quite a while. Based on what I just said. But to answer your question, I'm talking about a new solo record.
Okay. Is it too early to tell us like when you're thinking it's going to actually drop?
Whenever it's ready. That's how I always am. I never know. I don't like making plans that I can't fulfill. So when I step back and I have a certain number of songs that I like, then I'll start thinking album, and then I'll start thinking, when can I put it out?
And he works quick. I mean, and when something's almost done, he gets it done and he releases. He's the opposite of me.
Well, here's the deal.
Doesn't play around.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Yeah, I got you. I like that. I like that. That should be on a T-shirt.
Progress.
Yeah.
I should listen more to that.
Aren't you working on a new song too, Julia?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost done with another single that I want to release. I really like that single. He is actually pushing me to do that single because he sings that chorus every day.
It's been in my head for a good couple of years now.
So I'm finishing that because, I have a bunch of songs that are not done. I'm the opposite of Richie. So that drives him nuts. And now I'm learning with him that I should be finishing it. So I'm finishing that, and there's other almost done too. And I'm going to be releasing a few singles and hopefully also a whole album because there's definitely material there.
Yeah, she has some amazing songs. That's the thing about Julia. Everyone obviously who watches your show knows Julia as a great bass player, but she's really a great artist and songwriter and singer. So it's about time. My attitude is do it all, but it's about time that you show that side.
I know, and slowly I am, but I am the opposite as him. It has to be perfect. I get insecure because
I started opposite as you. That's the thing that folks don't realize about me. I didn't start out on the scene necessarily as a guy playing in a band. I started out as a recording artist. I was a guy that had multiple record deals, starting as a teenager with Shrapnel, and then I got signed to Interscope, and then I was signed to Geffen, and I did records for Capitol, and on and on and on. But I have the mindset of a writer, even over a guitar player. Yeah, I don't get excited about guitars and instruments and vintage and collecting. I get excited about an idea for a cool song and how I can put a lyric to it. That's kind of how I've always been. So, it's a different comfort zone. You never seem nervous about being on stage. You always seem, and sometimes there's certain instances where I'm get ready to go on stage. I'm like, oh man,
he gets a little anxiety.
I got some anxiety. get in front of people, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I'm the opposite. Yeah, I started in a huge band in Brazil. I mean, the band became huge at one point. So I was doing arenas, the whole thing. So I got very comfortable with that. And then now exposing myself as a songwriter or singer, it's a different animal. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But he's helping me a lot with that because I released it. So yes, your question, singles and hopefully an album's coming soon.
Well, the cool thing about what you guys were just saying too is like you're both amazing singers. So like that's why it's so cool when I hear, you know, you release music and Richie, you release music, and it's just I'm a huge fan of both of your voices. I mean, I obviously think you're phenomenal musicians in general, but I just love both of your voices. And for me, it started with Richie when it was like 1993 when Native Tongue came out, and the harmonies. And like I knew distinctly why that album was better than the previous album because Richie's voice was on.
I have great memories from making that album. All kinds of great memories. And especially working with Brett. And he was really, I don't know, I didn't have any expectation to really sing in that band really at all, to be honest. And he wanted me to sing. He kept pushing me. No, sing that harmony. Take the lead. I think there's a song or two where we trade lead vocals. I think there's a song called Bring It Home where I got some lead spots, and there might be another one that I'm not thinking. But he was really, he's a very confident dude in what he does. So he was very cool about me, and I was quite young, you know, so it was a big opportunity. So I got a lot of great memories. It seems like we spent an equal amount of time playing ping pong over at Rumbo Studios. It was Rumbo and A&M, but we started at A&M and we went to Rumbo, and that's where the ping pong table was. And I remember me and the bass player had some real crazy wagers going on, you know, kind of real. Bummer if I would have lost that last game that I kept doubling down. Finally, I came back.
I love that. So let's talk about too. So since, you know, you guys both do your own thing separately, how do you guys handle your relationship when, you know, like last year, for example, you guys were both on the road like crazy. And I know there was probably a few times where you ended up crossing paths on, you know, the same festivals or whatever. But, you know, how do you guys keep like such a good dynamic when that happens?
Well, I think. What?
Fonda, isn't that what they say?
Well, I do think that both of us need space as not only artists, but also as human beings. Like we both have our own personalities, our own whatever. And so it's I like when that space happens. And again, you miss your partner a lot when he's gone. And when you live together 24 hours a day, sometimes it can be a little too much. It's like, don't you have to go do groceries? Or it's like, are you going to the Pilates? Like, you know, whatever. But we just celebrated yesterday 7 years together, marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 12 overall.
Wow.
So it seems to be working, but I would speak more than him because I'm Brazilian. He's like blah, blah, blah. But I feel like we just respect each other a lot in our spaces, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think you meant like when we're away from each other for so long. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think I answer. Like, we
did
start missing your partner a lot. That's what it is, you know? Yeah. And again, we trust each other a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, happy anniversary, first of all. But no, it does make sense. It makes sense. It's just you hear about these like, you know, couples like yourselves, and it's just like it's amazing to me. And not that I'm not in like a similar situation, but it's funny to, you know, hear.
So what is your point of view?
Yeah, he's laughing, so he's got a different point of view than you.
Oh, no. It's all good.
But that's legit a question people say because we are both musicians. It can be
I think my attitude on a relationship is that a human being needs to be self-sufficient emotionally on their own. Mm-hmm. And I think if a person is whole, however I'm trying to explain that as a person, and the other person is complete as a person, like she doesn't need me to validate her on some emotional level.
Mhm.
I think then you have the potential to have a relationship, as long as you maintain boundaries and respect, that can last. And I think what happens in some instances, especially when you're young, is, which I don't consider myself, is that it's very easy to become intertwined in a way that's unhealthy, and you get over that barrier that you're deep inside this person's emotional state, and you want to, and if you can't control a certain scenario, if it messes with you, and then you react a certain way, and then it just starts to erode. We don't really have, thank God, and that's why it's working. We don't really have that in our
The relationship
DNA as people. Julia is a complete person unto herself that maneuvers through, the world, and so am I. And we don't.
We're kind of like, I don't know. I feel like some people are a little insecure, I guess, and it's okay, and especially young couples or young kids, whatever, teenagers, I don't know. You might get insecure, and over time, I'm not his first relationship, and vice versa, obviously. So we've dealt with stuff before, and that's a valid point. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's true. Like when he goes on a road, he's Richie. I stay home. I'm Julia, and I miss him. But he's my partner. He's not my. I don't depend on him to exist. Vice versa.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. But so all that being said, I'm glad we're recording that. That's my screen capture right there.
We can go better one.
Yeah. So with all that being said, do you ever see yourselves touring together ever again? Because I know, Julia, for a while you were telling me that you guys did. So would that ever come back around, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I toured with him on the Smith Kotzen when they're doing Smith Kotzen.
Yeah.
But he has an amazing bassist, Dylan. And
but I think that's what he meant, like the Smith Kotzen.
On the Smith Kotzen. Yeah. Well, it's up to you.
I mean, Adrian and I were assuming that you wanted to play live. Is that still on the table?
I mean,
This is breaking news.
Breaking news. So I think I play bass on Smith Kotzen, and obviously I'm Vixen's.
She's on the album on a couple songs. When I agree to have you pry the bass out of my hands.
Yeah.
I know she's on a couple of new songs that Adrian and I did, and obviously she did the only live shows that Adrian and I have ever done. Julia played bass with us, and so I'm hoping that she's available. In the event that we go out again.
Excellent. All right, cool. So this next thing that we're going to do here is called the lightning round. We actually started doing this with Britt, which is why it's called the lightning round. She was the first one to do this. We've been doing it ever since. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you guys just random questions, and you're each going to answer them however you want to answer them. And it's just for the listeners to get to know you on a level other than just music. So, and some of these questions are going to be just random and make no sense, like this very first question.
All right.
So you're going through the Bermuda Triangle. Are you going by boat or by plane, and why?
I go by plane because I don't want to drown.
Okay. What about you, Richie?
By plane.
Same reason?
I think I have better odds.
Okay. I like that. I think you're the first person that ever said that.
Better odds.
All right. How about individually favorite food?
I'll go first. Italian food.
Same.
I'm a Libra. I like anything that is good. But I'll say sushi.
Sushi. All right. Another good one.
I just had Julia. I don't know why I have to have so many buttons. Julia wanted me to have my shirt open.
It's always difficult.
I'm not that guy. I don't need to have my shirt open.
Well, that should be the next question is, Julia, why did Richie have to have his shirt?
I don't know. I don't recall asking you to open your shirt. It's a lie.
All right. So next question is going to be, what about favorite TV shows?
Mine is easy. I love Friends. I don't know why. It's just easy. I don't have to think much. And we love the Dateline stuff, the forensics.
My favorite show is Forensic Files.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great show too. Yeah. Very different there.
Oh, yeah. But we watch the forensics way more. I only put Friends when I'm cooking or whatever, cleaning the house. Yeah. Funny, easy going.
All right. Well, here's a question that could possibly strike a nerve with musicians everywhere. How do you guys feel about streaming nowadays? So we all know that it's probably not as sustainable as hard copies used to be. But do you feel that it's got a positive or negative impact on musicians?
You want to go? Because I think you get good streaming
Yeah,
points of view.
You know, I see both sides of it, you know, and I like to talk about the positive because I don't like watching videos of myself complaining. So, I'm going to say the positive things. What I like is I love the aspect that if I write a song and record it and it's done and mastered, that I can put it up immediately for anyone to listen to. I really love that. I think that's really great. I like the idea of cutting out all the middle, you know, in artists getting to the people that are interested in hearing their work.
Or not interested, and then you can't tell.
Right. So I think that removing all that stuff that was in the middle, like when I got in the business, when I started, you know, and having a direct conduit to the fans, I think is really great. I really like that. And I am, as I get older, I am becoming more of a minimalist type guy. I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm getting rid of equipment, guitars, amps, things that I just don't need. And I find that when I walk in a room and see less, I have more space in my head for creativity. So in keeping with that, I got rid of most of my CD collection. And so I like the idea of that. If I want to hear a song at any point, I won't say her name now, but I'll ask her to play it. And the song starts playing in my house or out by the pool. And it's convenient. I love all that stuff. As far as the finances, you know, I understand why it is the way it is. And, you know, it's always more is always nice. You know, more is more. So it'd be great if you know you could get more out of it. But on the positive side, I like the instant gratification of write and record a song. Bam, it's out. Everybody can hear it like that. And I like the idea on the other side as a music fan. I want to hear Hotel California right now. Play it, and it'll play. So there are some upsides to it. The downside's obvious. Everyone's talking about it. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But it feels like lately we're even talking about that because you don't have anymore where to play CDs. Your car doesn't come with a CD player. Your computer doesn't have CD players. But we are kind of missing now that whole like, okay, let's get the CD art, see the lyrics, whatever. It feels like people are going even backwards now and going to the albums, the discs. And it's a trip. I like that. I like this new trend. So now you can actually see not only on the CD, but you see in the big thing and you have the pictures, the lyrics. I like that. I like having something to touch to get it and it's yours and it's forever yours. I like that too.
And what you're saying is consistent with where I'm headed now. Like as we said in the beginning, I'm hoping to have an album ready to release sometime this year of my own.
Yeah.
And as I'm working and as I'm listening to what I'm creating, I'm thinking in terms of when I was a kid, and I'm thinking in terms of a real album. And what I'm thinking I want to do is actually, when it's ready, make it in vinyl and not even really mess about with CDs initially. Make it in vinyl and come up with something really cool for the packaging and offer it that way. I haven't, you know, I have 2 records in my life that, or maybe 3, that came out as vinyl. And I remember when I did my first record, they were talking about, that's when the CD came out and they said, oh, we're not going to make it in vinyl. And I was having like a nervous breakdown at 18 years old thinking, you know, well, I know it's got to be a record, you know, but I like that. I don't have a record player, by the way.
No, but we'll buy it. It's about time.
But, you know,
he has vinyls here. You know, you have.
Well, I have the
Smith
Winery Dogs
Kotzen.
and Smith Kotzen and one of my titles. And,
and
we're going to actually reproduce one of my titles in vinyl for my upcoming European tour. We're going to have Into the Black,
that's
which is an album that people seem to like of mine. And that's going to be in vinyl for the first time. So,
oh, wow.
I like what you say about the vinyl, and I'm going to take a page out of that book and do it myself.
Well, I mean, staying in that same vein, how do you guys feel like social media impacts musicians these days?
Affects musicians, I don't know. I think it's interesting because now you actually can see that there are more people playing, that there are actually a bunch of musicians, especially girls, right? Talking about being a female musician. You can actually see that nowadays, well, they're there, they exist. I think it's a good platform. I mean, because again, it's harder now to have a record deal or whatever, do that way. So you have this a platform that you can actually expose yourself. And if you have a good product, a good quality or whatever, I feel like you're going to have your fans. You're going to have your way to expose yourself and actually probably build a career out of it. We know a lot of people that actually had that happen. Like there's this amazing Brazilian guitar player, Matheus Assato. He was, just showing his licks on Instagram, and he built up that Instagram to a point that now he plays with Bruno Mars.
Wow.
So
okay.
I feel like it's very valid, and you have to utilize. If you don't, it's okay too, but it's there and it's free, I mean, it's just there. So use it. I like it. I think it's, what do you think?
I agree with you. I mean,
but you come from a totally different era.
Yeah, we had a private conversation a few nights ago about this, and I think it really is a generation thing. Like, for someone like me, I came into the scene with a record deal.
Yeah.
And then that went away and I got a different record deal. And I was always of the mindset of, okay, I'm the artist. I'm going to write the songs and record them. The promoters and the record company and the concert promoters, those are the guys that are going to do the other stuff. Because I don't know how to do that. I know how to promote. I know how to write and record, and I know how to perform. Those are the things that I know how to do. So for someone like me, it gets to a point where you can almost get discouraged of like, oh, you got to post.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to post. Actually, I don't really post. So I'll just post when I feel like it. And if it works, and it's nice and it's fun. And I like the element, again, I'm not a complainer. I like the element of the direct reaction. I can put something up and it's me. It really is me. It's direct. And so I think there's way more upside. I like it, but I just think it's easy to get overwhelmed, with, you got to do this, you got to do that. You actually don't have to do that.
What it feels like too, like back in the day, you could focus only on your craft. So singer, songwriter, musician, whatever, like that's it. You don't have now to learn Pro Tools. You don't have to learn Final Cut. You don't have to learn AI technology. You don't have to. That's what it is nowadays, though. And it gets overwhelming. And like, I don't know, maybe if you born 20 years later,
of course,
you probably wouldn't be Richie because you couldn't just stay for like all day long learning your instrument. You will be learning your instrument, learning Instagram, learning AI. You know what I mean? It feels like some people can't even have their time to just dive in their I don't know. This is like a trip that I'm having right now because it feels like you have to know everything nowadays because you don't have nobody that will do it for you.
Yeah.
And you never know what's real or what's not. So you see this video of this person playing amazingly. You don't know how much did they fix. You don't know if they actually can play live, if they're good on stage, because it's perfect on Instagram. But you don't know who these people really are. So it's just a lot of things happening at the same time.
No, that's a great point. That's a really good point. I didn't even consider that because with all the technology we have to make things appear however we want, we really could just say, hey, check me out playing and whatever. And in real life, you just sound like trash.
or it just doesn't work. You don't have experience, whatever. Because it's so much more than just a post. That life.
Yeah.
So it's each. There's all sorts of points of view.
Yeah. I wanted to say something, and then when she said that, I kind of thought, well, then what I was about to say kind of is negated. But what it was that I was going to say was that when I look at Instagram, specifically at like the musicians, like the guitar players, it appears to me that the technical level that they're at is far superior to where it was many, many years ago. But now you're insinuating that it's possible that some of that might not be real. then that changes.
No, I feel like all the information is digested there nowadays. Like you go on YouTube and you learn anything you want. So that's true. But you have people like 7 years old that they got all the tricks nailed down because they learn, But like what I'm saying too, you have people on Instagram that might have recorded that for 1 billion times and edit, and you don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot. Again, it's a lot of information out there, and
you never know what's real and what isn't.
Especially for the AI.
It's true. Well, I got a couple more things for you guys before I get you out of here, and one more of the lightning round questions is: do you have any non-music hobbies?
Richie has.
You don't.
Well, I do too. I think my hobby is cooking. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Cooking and taking care of the dog now.
Okay.
I don't have big hobbies other than that.
My hobby for years was kind of working on my property. Like the house that I had before this one was a lot to do.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. And then with this, it's even more of a monstrosity. So there's more to do.
Rich is a great handyman. Is that how you say?
Yeah, but
he fixes everything.
My end game is an apartment on Wilshire Boulevard.
No,
that's where I'm headed.
You will not survive there.
Enough of this work.
Well, listen, before I get you guys out of here officially, I want you both to not only plug your social medias, but just any upcoming things you want to plug, or, if there's any more information that we didn't get to that you guys want to throw out there, just, go for it. The floor is yours now.
Go for it, honey.
Well, I'm actually excited to hear Julia's album come to fruition, because I've been hearing these songs in development, on and off. And some of them, like she said earlier, are engraved in my head. One in particular that she's working on now, I just think is fantastic. So I'm very excited about you and your releases and getting them out there. And then for me, I've got a busy year. I've got 26 or 27 shows booked in Europe starting in the very first week of June.
Oh, wow.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. And then hopefully I will parlay that into a United States run of dates, maybe in the fall. And then from there, we'll see who calls and wants me to show up. Maybe we'll go to Brazil. Who knows?
He always have calls.
And then the creative stuff,
Your solo album?
Adrian and I have some really great, what I think are really lovely compositions that are sitting there. We're looking forward to sharing. I've got some new stuff of my own that hopefully turns into an album, and I think that's enough.
Yeah. And same with me. I'm releasing my songs, the album, hopefully. And, going on a road with Vixen. Usually summer is very busy. So we're waiting for the summer to kick off and we can just go on the road. But yeah, and then I'm looking forward for his albums too, because it's always a blast. And I hear him writing here too. So I'm like, I want to hear this done. And if something happened with Smith Kotzen, it would be my pleasure.
Oh, yes. I'm assuming we're in.
But yeah, all things music here in this house, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you guys are so awesome to have on the show and together too. Like, you just flow so easily back and forth. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Keep in touch with us. We're all over social media.
Well, wait, one more question for Julia. If I give Richie one of my shirts, is it okay that it doesn't have buttons?
Yes. Please.
This.
Buttons.
Oh, yeah.
He needs some with no buttons, that's for sure.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't going to be mad that he couldn't open it.
It's not on me. Trust me. I don't pick on his outfits. He's the one that is picky.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob. It was a pleasure again. I hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Listen to my mother. She told me, kid, don't push your luck. Your woman's gonna leave you. I threw everything away. Tell me who I am, oh, open up my eyes. It was all a dream. I was strong and me. I lost all my inspiration to the devil's hand. I was all for her, she was all for me. I lost all her adoration to another man that she don't know.
All right, rockers, once again, Julia Lage and Richie Kotzen. Make sure you're following them on social media and keeping up with where you can catch them performing next. And who knows, maybe even on a stage near you very soon together. Time will tell, but it sounds like it's probable. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast. And please leave us a good review and give us a follow on social media.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.